In the last few years, radon in Utah homes has been getting a lot of attention because of the health problems that it's causing. I'm Ben Waller with Coldwell Banker and HomeSoldUtah.com, and I have here with me today Dave Evans with HomeTek Radon, and he's going to talk to us about radon and how it impacts our homes and what we can do to potentially fix the problems. So, Dave, I just want to thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
This is exciting.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm excited to learn about radon from your expertise because it sounds like you know a lot about radon.
Well, I know a couple things. I've been doing it for about 18 years.
That's a long time. That's my first question, Dave. So 18 years in the radon business. What does that mean? You've been studying radon. You've been working on radon.
I've been in the radon business with radon testing and fixing people's homes that have elevated levels of radon in their home.
Okay, so Dave, let's start with a little bit of the basics. Can you explain what is radon?
Yes, radon is a radioactive gas that emanates from the soil, and the original source of the radon is radioactive uranium.
Okay, that sounds dangerous.
It's dangerous when it's concentrated a little too high in the home.
So that's my next question. Why should I, as a homeowner, care about radon? Like, what does it do?
So radon causes lung cancer.
Not good.
And as we breathe the air in our home, we're breathing in radon. We're always breathing radon. There are small amounts of radon even outside. It's something we never get away from, but they're very low levels outside. And so when we get inside of our home, depending on the footprint of the home and what is in the ground underneath, the gases come up into the home through the concrete and through the cracks in the concrete, and then it's in our home. And the interesting thing about radon, when we say what is radon gas, it's an inert gas, which really means you can't see it, you can't smell it, can't taste it. You can test for it.
We'll get to that in a second.
Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. So radon causes lung cancer. Nobody wants that, so it's important we're discussing this topic.
And one thing I may add is radon is the second leading cause, only behind smoking, for lung cancer, not just in America, but worldwide.
So that's a pretty big deal.
It's a big deal.
So we should definitely be paying attention to this. So you talked about it a little bit, but let's talk about how does radon get into the home?
So radon gets into the home through the concrete slab of a home, whether it's built on a concrete slab or if there's a crawl space underneath and it comes up through the ground.
Okay.
There's less of a barrier in a crawl space. So, it comes in
Pretty strong
in a crawl space. However, with the concrete, anyone who think of your concrete floor, whether there's tile, carpet, whatever on it, that concrete floor has sometimes pretty large cracks, and sometimes they're just so small, but it is a porous substance. It's porous, obviously. If you pour water on it, you notice how quickly it soaks into the concrete. It's a porous material. So the pressure of the earth due to weather and other issues, heat rising in the home because we heat our home, has a vacuum directly onto the concrete floor, and it pulls the radon right up through that concrete. The more cracks there are, the easier it is, but we could say, well, let's just seal the concrete. If you seal the concrete, you're never going to seal it hermetically.
Right, so it'll still get through.
So it's still going to find its way in.
Okay, so Dave, does the age of my home have anything to do with the radon levels that I'm going to find?
Not really. The main factor of radon coming into the house, two things. The dynamic of the home drawing the radon into the home, but the biggest factor is the footprint that we sit that house on.
You mean like size, or what do you mean by footprint?
So when we dig a hole or put a house directly on a spot, that spot indicates what the radon level is going to be. So in any given city, there are hot spots where there is a heavier concentration of uranium in the earth, and as it decomposes, it gives off different gases and radon being one of those.
Okay. So that,
And so it's more or less just the spot you're on. So you can be in a high radon area, and there might be 3 or 4 houses in a row that have high radon levels,
Okay.
and then you'll have a house that doesn't, because the footprint, it's not laden with
okay.
original uranium.
So since what you're saying is some houses could have radon and some don't, there's got to be some method for finding out if your house has radon, right?
Exactly.
So how do you find out if your house has radon?
There are several different testing devices that are available. Some states, the state of Utah being one of those, subsidizes radon test kits. So you can go to the state and get a radon test kit, or you can hire a professional like myself, certified in where to put the test to get an accurate
Makes
result.
Sense. You'd probably
And
know
then we
best.
have some fancy equipment that make it a lot more convenient to test for radon.
Okay, so you can definitely test for radon in your house. And doing that, how long does it take to test for radon?
So a test for radon needs to be a minimum of 48 hours. There are
Okay.
short-term tests and long-term tests. I won't get into too much detail on testing protocol when you want to switch from a short-term to a long-term.
Okay.
Just know that we start with short-term testing, and then long-term testing may be indicated depending on the radon levels of the short-term test. Obviously, if you're sky high on a short-term test, you can do all the testing you want, and you're still going to be sky high.
Makes sense. Sounds good. Thanks for answering that one. Let's go to, at what point do I need to try and remove the radon from my home? I mean, is there like a certain level that I should be concerned with?
The official answer from the EPA is there is no safe level of radon. So that needs to be stated. However, saying that, the EPA also has a guideline of 4.0 picocuries per liter, named after Madame Curie.
Okay.
Really the person who discovered radioactivity.
Got it.
And so it's named after her, but we can picture it more like parts per million.
Okay.
So 4.0 picocuries per liter is where the EPA says if you're at 4, you should mitigate, get rid of that radon. If you're below 4, they don't say you don't need to worry about it. They say even at 2.0, you should consider mitigation of the radon.
Okay.
There's some real advantages, even bringing it from say 3 down to 1, which is typical once we finish a mitigation system.
And we would find out what level we have based on the testing you mentioned briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I also want to mention that Dave has a lot of great information on his website, and I'll be putting a link in the comments below so that you can check out that website for yourself. So, Dave, I do want to ask you how you remove radon from a house, and I think in order to answer that question, we're going to go and check out a job site that you're working on so we can see a little bit of the radon mitigation system in action.
Yes, so when we go look at the system, know that what we're actually doing is we're putting a suction fan. It's not like a bathroom fan that moves air. This is a fan that is designed to create a vacuum pressure.
Interesting.
Behind the fan. It does move some air as well, but it's the vacuum pressure. So what we're doing, the pressures that are pulling the radon into the house, we're overcoming those pressures.
Okay.
Rather than vacuuming the radon out, it can sit down there as long as it doesn't come into the house. We don't really care. Even though, in essence, these fans really do vacuum a bunch of the radon out.
Okay.
But we make it so that the pressure is greater below the house than above that concrete
and that
floor.
Creates the vacuum.
Uh-huh.
Cool. All right, here we are on the job site of a radon mitigation install, and Dave's going to point out a couple things that are important about this system.
Thank you. So here's the system, and the things that I think would be important to note about the system is this is the radon fan. So it's a pretty simple, it's not a horrible looking device on the house. As you see the system here, this is a 1-day easy installation. typically 1 day. Rarely do they go more than 1 day. And so the system, you see the fan, and the location on the house is unique with every home because the inside build of the home, where the rooms are configured, and the depth of the foundation, all of those things come into play in designing the home. So typically it's best if someone comes out from the company to discuss the best options on the home. In this case, there were 2, 3 kind of sort of options. This one was by far the best route. So this is where the system is. The important things to note about the system is that everything is sealed, it's airtight and waterproof. You see the sealant? I'm not going to touch it because this was just installed, it's still wet. So everything is sealed so the water does not get in the system. Even the fan is sealed so that it's airtight, so the radon is not emanating from the fan. We want to exhaust the radon up above the roof line, as you see in this case.
Thanks for watching, and remember, if you need help with a radon mitigation system, call Dave with HomeTek Radon so that he can help you make it happen.